G's, yeah. 4 G's, 4 G's, 4 G's, let's go. 4 G's, 4 G's, 4 G's, look. Full syndication, full elevation, all generations, we already made it. 4 G's, 4 G's, 4 G's, yeah. 4 G's, 4 G's, 4 G's, let's go. 4 G's, 4 G's, 4 G's, look. Full syndication, full elevation, all generations, we already made it. Yeah, we already made it. Yeah, we already made it. Full syndication, full elevation, all generations, we already made it. We got Shot, Dot, Malcolm, Chris the King, plus the Doc. You know that's like 4 G's. Sports Mind. Real world, real problems, real news, real sports. We gon' let you know right here on 4 G's. 4 G's.
Welcome to 4G Sports once again. I am the OG.
I am the king.
You got the Dot.
All right, and the Don is on vacation this week. Well, first of all, we would like to thank all the subscribers and views that we have gotten so far on all the episodes we have posted. Thank you very much. All right, gentlemen, it is a real charged week. There's a lot of different crazy elements going on. So let's just jump right into it, all right? All right, let's start off with your boy Drew Brees down there in New Orleans. How did you feel about his recent comments? All right, let's start with the king.
Ooh-wee. Sometimes you gotta just keep... These days and time is whatever comes out of your mouth can be taken real sensitive and out of context, and the media likes to spin things to how they want to make it sound. Now I know why Marshawn Lynch refused to talk to the media. Now I absolutely know why. His apology, cool, that's fine, all fine and dandy. I'm not sure who his PR person is, but some things are just best left unsaid, man. That's just what it is. You know, you gotta watch what you say these days. It's sensitive times right now. Very sensitive.
Yeah, I mean, I like, you know, I try to naturally go through life and assume positive intent, you know, with people. But if we recall, Drew Brees has a history of these kind of comments. A year or two ago, he made some pretty insensitive comments directed towards the LGBT community, and this is another, example of that. I agree with King. Sometimes it's best to get your PR person involved, or don't say nothing at all. I mean, you have to understand what's happening right now. You can't not see it. You go to social media, you click on the news. There's a nation in we're crying, and you have to understand what your comments might mean, even if you didn't have ill will behind them. It's important that he did apologize, and that I saw recently he even directed one specific comment towards the president himself, and now it's just it's on him to make amends though. Now it's on him.
Right. My thoughts are kind of, I don't know, because you're in New Orleans, and the first thing people want to say is Drew has done so much for New Orleans. He's done so much for the black community in New Orleans. He's done so much for this, that, and this. So for you to make the comment, you don't agree with anybody kneeling during the national anthem, and that means that you still don't understand what the protest Kaepernick was doing.
Right.
So if you don't understand it, to me, everything that you claim that you have done for New Orleans and all of that is just it's for naught at this point, because you just stated that no matter what happens, what Colin Kaepernick did, you will never agree with, but you're not understanding why he did it.
Yep.
And that's the biggest problem to me.
Yeah. It was never about the flag.
Right. It's nothing about the flag. And for his teammates to come out against it, boy, I don't know how that locker room gets back together for the season.
That's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
That's gonna be tough. I hope his apology was genuine. I really do. I hope he wasn't peer pressured by teammates by what they were saying. They were saying some some mean things. You know what I'm saying? That's tough, man. That the locker room is a brotherhood. We already know how that operates. And like I said, sometimes you gotta just keep your comments to yourself, man, and go by the script. Or like I said, watch what you say. You gotta watch what you say.
He's gonna have to humble himself and get in front of that entire locker room. Every one of them, humble himself, and prove to do better. And that might mean a lot of the things. We like to drag Mike Vick through the mud for his transgressions, but that man's done everything possible to make amends for that, and Drew Brees is gonna have to do the same.
Yes, I agree. All right, let's go on because we got more on that later on in the show. All right, let's go to the NBA. There's always certain players that are great in college, but disappear in the league. Give me yours. Let's go with Doc.
All right, so I struggle between going way back and staying current, but I think for me personally, I'm gonna have to go with Christian Laettner. He was a stud in college. He got selected to the Dream Team over Shaquille O'Neal, and got to the league. And I think he handed out towels. I'm not sure. He didn't do much. He didn't do much out there, in the league.
All right.
But Christian Laettner is my pick.
That's a great one.
Okay, I got two of them.
Okay,
I got one that you probably remember. OG Mateen Cleaves.
Yes.
Was killing it in the NCAA Final Four championship. Got to the league. I don't know how many seasons that man played. I don't even know if he had a jersey with his name on it. To be honest with you. And I do have another one. And I know you remember this guy too. Luke Jackson.
No, I don't remember Luke Jackson.
He went to he was a second player of the year, University of Oregon. Point guard.
Wow.
Stud. Shoot lights out. Defense was suspect. They always said, you can shoot, but who can you stop from shooting?
Oh.
And that was his downfall. He couldn't stop nobody from shooting. And that's why he is wherever he's at now.
Well, before I give you mine, Doc, that was a great one because not only was he on the Dream Team over Shaq, he's the only one on the Dream Team that's not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right.
and King, you said Mateen Cleaves from Michigan State, if I'm correct.
Yes.
He was a Fulton.
That's the same guy that rode the bench for Sacramento when they were playing the Lakers during the playoffs, and all he did was Right. All right. Well, mine is Harold Baby Jordan Minor.
Oh, Minor. Yes.
Okay, enough said. And the ultimate for me, which is kind of a tie, is either Sam Bowie, who was picked ahead of Michael Jordan, or Greg Oden, who was the first pick, and I think he played maybe a total of a year.
Yeah, maybe.
He may have played a year out of 4 or 5 years.
Right.
So Sam Bowie's picked ahead of Jordan. Oden's picked ahead of Kevin Durant. Both of those picks made by Portland.
Great one. Great one. Yeah. So, before we move to the next topic, does that mean that Portland needs a new GM, a new system of picking big men?
They might need a new city.
they might have to relocate. They might have to relocate.
Oh my God. All right. Now with the teams coming back, let's talk about what's your thoughts on the MLB regarding agreement to start the season.
Money's being lost.
Right.
Period. And if you don't fill the seats, can't pay them guaranteed contracts. Can't pay vendors. Can't pay, like we said, sponsors. That's the highest paid sport. You know, you got $200 and $300 million contracts. You can't pay them contracts if you don't have bodies in the seats. That's just what it is. So I think that they got to do something. I'm not sure what rules are going to have with fans being in the stands, if it's gloves, masks, or whatever the case may be. But they got to come up with something because, like I said, too much money is being lost. Like we said earlier, that money is guaranteed money, and it has to come from somewhere. You know, the Yankees might have that kind of money, but the lower tier teams might not have it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think it shows. To me, I go real deep into look how well Adam Silver worked with the players' union. Even somebody like Goodell, who really isn't even trusted by the players, has been able to come up with something to make sure we're getting the NFL on track. The NBA is coming back, and still MLB isn't even through the first part of the negotiations, and it's all hung up around money. The players want their money. The owners want to save as much as possible. There need to be some trust. The players' unions and the owners need to get together. And I would almost say, like a jury, sit in that room until you come up with something. Quit passing the paper back and forth saying, no, I reject that. No, I reject that. Get together, figure it out. Do it for the fans. I mean, the country needs this right now. Like we need all these sports to come back. We do. The country needs it, and I think they better figure it out because baseball. I mean, if you're gonna try to put it up against NBA and NFL, it's already not got the ratings of those two sports. I don't want to see you kill one of America's longest running sports.
All right. Well, I mean, to me, it's a fight, like you said, it's a fight over money and games. The owners wanted to play 46.
Yeah.
The players wanted to play 82. And over the difference of the money from, what they'll be losing per game, if you finally break it down, what they're really fighting over is $10.8 million per team. Some players are making that as a base salary. So if this is supposed to be America's sport, why can't you get this done?
Yeah, get it together.
Because like the doc said, there's no way that if I have a chance to watch a basketball game or even a football game, college or even high school sometimes,
Right.
and then there is a baseball game, that's the last thing I'm going to look for.
Yeah.
That is the last thing I'm going to look for. So like you said, Major League Baseball, get your act together before you lose a lot of fans that I don't know if you can recover. I really don't.
Right.
Speaking of basketball, what are your thoughts on the NBA returning with 22 teams for the season?
Hey, my sons are in it, so I like it. Let's get it going. Let's get it rocking. Let's get it in Orlando. I mean, I'm under no preconceived notion that it means really much more for the Suns other than the 8 games. When I was looking at how the brackets and games would fall, essentially the Suns would have to go, just speaking of them, would have to go 8-0 and hope that some of those top teams, play under 500 basketball. Because if I'm looking at the proposal correctly, the play-in game between the 8th and 9th seed, the 9th seed has to be within 4 games of the 8th seed. If they're outside of that 4 games, they're out of it anyway. So I love that basketball's back regardless, though. I'm going to be watching. I'll be tuned in, and I'm ready to, watch some basketball again.
I think I like it personally. I think it's different. I think the world needs something right now. Changes. We all have to adjust to change, man. And if this is what it takes for us to get back into the small flow of things, and I miss basketball. We've missed out on NCAA Final Four this year. It's needed. Let's get it done. I mean, you can't put an asterisk on this season. You got to come out with a champion some way, somehow. Let's get it done. And you know who's going to take it. I'm going to go ahead and rock that right now.
Who's that?
I can't point correctly. that one.
I would like to see a Clipper versus Laker championship, if that's even possible.
Hey.
Is that? I don't know how the brackets are working. Is that even possible?
The way that I think they're trying to do it, I think they're trying to do the round robin type of situation. They're going from whatever the setup is, because I think they're still going to try to do 16, but I think they're going to do like the tournament, 1 versus 16, and back it down that way.
Okay.
Because I think. What'd you say?
No. Go ahead and finish your thought, OG.
I was thinking, because I know they said 22 teams, and if I remember correctly, they were saying 16 from the West, 6 from the East. So
yeah, something.
I'm not understanding how do you balance that out to make it fair? Because if you look at the standings, when the top 8 teams in the East were the Bucks, Raptors, Boston, Heat, Pacers, Nets, and Magic. With the Magic being with the worst record so far at 30-35. So you're trying to tell me they deserve to play the Lakers in the first round of how are you going to do it? 3-5 series? And
right.
What if, you know what I mean? I don't think that's fair. I just think you should go ahead and just take the top 16 teams, let them play to get in shape. These 8 games don't even matter. It's just to get in shape preseason.
Right.
Yeah.
You go from the standings that you have, and you go to the playoffs as you normally would go.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
I like that.
So how do you all feel about? It sounds like this year the dynamics more of a NCAA bracket. What would you feel about that going forward? I mean, I personally do like the East-West platform, but that's how we grew up on that. So maybe it's just the traditionalist in me with that setup. I don't know how I would feel about just taking the top 16 going forward. How do you all feel about that?
I still think that you need the East-West for the simple fact of if I'm a number 1 seed, just saying, and I'm playing a 16 seed in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
That's a lot of flying back and forth that's unnecessary. With that, not that many days off. But if you're putting us all in one central location, I think that might work.
Yeah.
If there's no travel, I mean, especially with the way they have to do it this year. If there's no travel, then yes. But I still think not a one and done. It may be a 2 and 3 type of situation, but not a one and done.
Yeah. I understand they're still doing, once you get into the playoffs, they're still doing best of 7. So, like you said, that would be a lot of flying.
Yeah, that's a lot of back and forth I understand that, they do have better transportation and all that kind of stuff, but that's a lot on your body to fly back and forth from different coasts for what a day's rest in between.
Then get a higher seed then. You ain't got to worry about traveling. Don't be below 500 and think you're gonna go in there and just play against a top notch team. It is what it is. If your team was better, you have a better seed. You have to worry about it. Period.
Correct.
So I agree.
Correct.
I agree. I like it. If it's like that, let them try.
Let's go to our weight. What are your thoughts on Pete Carroll's comments about Kaepernick, and also what are your thoughts about the NFL comments? I wanted to add that in there because they're both kind of hand in hand. So what are your thoughts on Pete Carroll's comments first about Kaepernick and then about the NFL?
Too little, too late for both comments. Too little, too late. Did you have that same energy last year? Don't worry. The year before that, y'all was talking bad about the man. Seattle brought that man in for a meeting. Never got a workout. He didn't touch the field. Didn't put on no pads, no cleats, no nothing. All of a sudden now you're saying that, no, man, it's too little, too late. Sorry. No, I'm not buying that. You can't save face now. Let it go. Some things are best left unsaid. Like I said.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna meet King halfway on that response. I think for Goodell, it is definitely too little, too late. He didn't have Cap's back or the other players back when it first started, when they were trying to bring awareness in a peaceful manner. Pete Carroll, he's always been somewhat of a more progressive coach. I kind of put him up there in that Bruce Arians category. He did bring Cap in for discussions. I think money is unfortunately what stopped that from even going any further. I think maybe Cap might have wanted a little bit more for a backup, and they already had gobs of money in on Russell Wilson. But at least Pete Carroll back then was one of the few coaches that actually at least brought him in and had some discussions. Now, that could have been all for PR. Obviously, we're not, in those closed doors. We don't know. He did say we owe a tremendous amount to Kaepernick in his quote, and I believe that's right. We absolutely do. All of us, everybody, especially those behind the shield of the NFL.
Correct. Pete Carroll, to me, it's a little too late, bro. It's a little too late. Yes, we do owe Kaepernick a tremendous amount of respect for what he stood up for. No one had his back, and you got to commend him for that. But you're also the coach, and if I'm not mistaken, you are the GM. So regardless of money, you do have the power to negotiate to get this man to do whatever was happening. And if he did not want the backup position, then let that be known. Don't keep it a secret. We offered him a job as a backup. He declined. So now we cannot hold that against you. That's one. The NFL, bruh, missed me with that comment. Yes, you were all the way wrong. One. Two, the players have been telling you for years, but you never want to listen to the help. So now you have to listen to the help. I don't get it. It's a simple conversation you should have had since day one. So now, on the NFL's part, do they find some way to bring Cap back into the NFL? They have to. How? I don't know. They have to find a way.
They keep playing, they're going to end up on a Saints.
Right. I think something to change on him. The Raiders and Vegas might. I think the owners are still afraid to bring him in, man, for losing the revenue. Period.
At this point, he needs to be head of the special counsel for this type of or something. But the NFL, for your statement to ring with fans and your players, if that man is not back in the league by this year or even the next year, once we get past this pandemic, then your comments are for naught, and you're telling your employees we could care less about you and your problems if it's messing with our money.
Right.
You actually just triggered that comment you just made. Kind of triggered something in my brain that I hadn't really even considered before. When I say Kaepernick should be back in the league, I've always just automatically put him on the field. Man, bring that man into NFL level front office type. Not even like for a football team, for the NFL.
Correct.
That would be great, actually. Yeah, I just had that epiphany on. Yeah, that would be wonderful.
Something like ambassadors of public relations or something like that.
Yeah,
they can create a title for him if they wanted to. Most definitely.
Because now you're telling your players you can peacefully protest. Didn't this man do this 4 years ago?
Yeah, and got blackballed. Like
Yeah,
the cheap
so
training. Like you can make anything.
right.
Mm-hmm.
So, gentlemen, I don't know what else to say except it was a great show. I think we've hit a lot of sensitive topics, kept it fun, kept it light as possible.
That is possible. That's what our watchers want. I know.
We don't want to seem like we don't want to touch today's topics, but sports and real life takes a hand in hand, and I think that we need to touch everything that's possible. So, gentlemen, do you have anything else that we should discuss at this point, or are we done?
I don't have anything, except I love all my brothers.
Oh yeah. Much love to you too, for real. Oh,
all right.
Hey, going back to the MLB. Hockey's already got a plan in place too. So really, MLB is behind. I'm going all the way back. MLB is way behind because the NHL is coming back too.
Well, if you really want to put the MLB really behind, NASCAR is back. With no fans.
If the NBA can come back and do a 22-team schedule, why not do that for the NCAA?
Well, you're talking kids. You're talking something that you really don't control, and you don't pay them. You don't pay them. Okay,
but does some kids' stock go down for not being in the tournament? Because some people's stock go up while in the tournament. The unknowns get drafted just by how they play in the NCAA tournament. If they're not unknown, like who knew of Ja Morant? We heard of him throughout the season. You know what I'm saying? We heard of him throughout the season, like sporadically. But when it came tournament time, you heard that man's name all the time.
Okay, so
you know what I'm saying?
With that, do you let them go back to school? No draft this year.
People want to get paid now.
I understand. Okay, but to your point.
But you give them almost like a blue and gray Senior Bowl, like in football.
Correct. Okay.
Like that. What I mean, like that.
Or I think, like Doc was about to say, give them the choice.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. You have another year of eligibility because of this. However, you can still, go to the league as if you would have.
Or
I can, because I think there's a lot of dynamics to go to that.
Since the G League is paying, if you do not want to go back to school, go to the G League.
I agree.
Or put them all in the G League, let them play a season, and then put them back in the draft.
I like that.
Yeah, that could work too. Yeah. Foregone. Yeah. I can see
they have to get their name out somehow.
Correct. I think we need to be on the governing boards of some type of sport because we can put stuff back together in a matter of minutes.
That's what I'm saying. Just fix it.
All right.
Oh man.
As always, we'd like to thank you for watching 4G Sports. And if you would like to subscribe, please go to our YouTube page at 4G Sports with a Z. You can also follow us on Twitter, IG, Facebook. And on Facebook, we have 4G Sports and also Gentlemen Sports on Facebook, to where you can leave comments, topic for the shows, and even questions or comments to either one of our, to me, the King, Doc, or even the Don. So once again, thank you. You can also send questions or comments to our Gmail at 4gsports@gmail. So thank you once again for listening, for watching, supporting. We love you and we appreciate it. Thank you. See you next week.